In this video, we're going to talk about scientific notation. So first I want to talk about why we use scientific notation. Scientific notation allows us to write really big and really small numbers. So how do we write scientific notation? To write a number in scientific notation, first the number needs to be between 1 and 10. And the second thing about writing something scientific notation is that it needs to be multiplied by a power of 10. Okay, so an example of a number that is not in scientific notation would be 41 times 10 to the second. So this is not in scientific notation, because the 41 is not between 1 and 10. When a number is written in scientific notation, the exponent is either positive or negative. If the exponent is positive, then we're going to move the decimal to the right. So here's an example. I have 47.31 times 10 to the power of 2. So this is a positive number, so I'm going to move the decimal to the right. Let's say this 47.31. So I'm going to move the decimal to the right 1, 2. So I end up with 4,731. Sometimes you'll have a number with a exponent that is a negative exponent. And when you have a negative exponent, you're going to move the decimal to the left. So here's an example. So let's say we have 47.31 times 10 to the negative 2. So now we're going to move this decimal to the left. 1, 2. So we're going to write 0.4731. Now let's take a look at going from standard notation to scientific notation. And I'm going to give you some of the steps for doing that. So first we're going to move the decimal to after the first whole number. We're going to add times 10. We're going to count how many spaces the decimal moved, and if the original number is greater, then we're going to have a positive exponent. If the original number is smaller, we're going to use a negative exponent. So now let's go ahead and apply this to an example. So we're going to look at 4137, and we're going to move the decimal. First, we're going to move the decimal to after the first whole number. So we're going to take this and move it to the left. 1, 2, 3. So our number is going to be 4.137. We're going to add the times 10. And the exponent is going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 3. And because the original number is greater, we're going to leave that as a positive number right there. Let's take a look at another number, 0.00478. Okay, so once again, we're going to move the decimal to after the first whole number. So that's going to go 1, 2, 3. So now our new number is 4.78. And then we're going to add the times 10. Okay, and then how many places did we move? 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be 3. But the original number, do you see how it's smaller? It's a very small number. So this is going to be a negative. The original number was small, so it's going to be a negative exponent. All right, now let's take a look at a few more examples. So we're either going to go from standard notation to scientific notation or scientific notation to standard notation. Okay, so we got 417, that's standard notation. So I'm going to take this decimal, I'm going to move it to the left, 1, 2. So I know it's going to be 4.17 times 10 to the 2. Now, since the original number was greater, we're going to leave it as a positive number. Okay. Second problem here. We're going to move this decimal to the right, 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be 3.19 times 10 to the, since we moved it to the right 3 places, we're going to put 3. Original number is smaller, so we're going to put a negative there. Now this number is already in scientific notation, and we're going to convert that to standard notation. So I'm going to write 5, it's a positive 4, so I'm going to move the decimal to the right 4 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get 51,200. The next number here is also in scientific notation, 3.92, 3.92. I'm moving to the left 2 places, 1, 2. So 1, 2. So that's going to be 0.0392.